A story about a darning needle. There was once a darning needle who thought herself so fine that she believed that she was an embroidery needle. "Take great care to hold me tight," said the darning needle to the fingers who were holding her. "Don't let me fall. If I once fall to the ground, I shall never be found again. I'm so fine." "It's all right," said the fingers, seizing her round the waist. "Oh, look, I'm coming with my train," said the darning needle as she drew a long thread after her. But there was no knot at the end of the thread. The fingers were using the needle on a cook's shoe. The upper leather was unstitched and had to be sewn together. "This is common work," said the darning needle. "I shall never get through. I'm breaking! I'm breaking!" In fact, she did not break. "Didn't I tell you so?" said the darning needle. "I'm too fine." Now she's good for nothing," said the fingers. But they had to hold her tight while the cook dropped some sealing wax on the needle and stacked it in front of her dress. "Now I'm a breastpin," said the darning needle. "I always knew I should be promoted. When one is something, one will become something." And she laughed to herself. You can never see a darning needle laugh. Then she came up as proudly as if she were a state coach and looked all around her. "May I be allowed to ask if you're gold?" she said to her neighbor, the pin. "You have a very nice appearance and a particular head, but it is too small. You must take pains to make it grow, for it is not everyone who has the head of sealing wax." And so saying, the darning needle raised herself so proudly that she fell out of the dress right into the sink where the cook was rinsing out. "Now I'm off on my travels," said the darning needle. "I do hope I shan't get lost." She did indeed get lost. "I'm too fine for this world," she said as she lay in the gutter. "But I know who I am, and that is always a little satisfaction." And the darning needle kept her proud bearing and did not lose her good temper. All kinds of swings swam over her, shavings, bits of straw, scraps of old newspaper. "Just look how they sail along," said the darning needle. "They don't even know what is underneath them. Here I am sticking fast. There goes the shaving, thinking of nothing in the world but itself, a mere chip. There goes the straw. Well, how does it twist and twirl? Oh, to be sure. Don't think so much about yourself, or you will get knocked against a stone. There floats a bit of newspaper. What is written on this so long forgotten, and yet how proud it is. I am sitting patient and quiet. I know who I am, and it is enough for me." One day something thick lay near her, which glittered so brightly that the darning needle thought it must be a diamond. But it was a piece of bottle glass, and because it sparkled, the darning needle spoke to it, gave herself out as a breastpin. "No doubt you're a diamond." "Yeah, something of that kind." And each believed that the other was something very costly, but they both said how proud the world must be of them. "I've come from a lady's work-box," said the darning needle. "This lady was a cook. She had 5 fingers on each hand. Anything so proud as these fingers have I seen. Yet they were only there to take me out of the work-box and put me back again." "And were they of noble birth, then?" asked a bit of bottle glass. "Of noble birth," said the darning needle. "No, indeed, but proud. There were 5 brothers, all called Fingers. They held themselves proudly one against each other, although we were in different sizes. The outside one, the thumb, was short and fat. He was outside the rank, and he had only one bend in his back, and he could only make one bow. But he said that if he were to rip off from another man, then he was no longer any use of a soldier. dip into everything the second finger, dipping into sweets as well as sour things, pointed to the sun and to the moon, and the guide of the pen as it wrote Longman the third looked at the others over his shoulder. Goldband the fourth had a gold sash round his waist, and little Playman did nothing at all, and was more proud. There was so much ostentation when I came away. And now we're sitting and shining here, said the glass. At the moment, more water came into the gutter and streamed over the edges, and washed the bit of bottle glass away. Ah, now he has been promoted, said the Darning Needle. I remain here, and too fine, but that is my pride, which is a sign of respectability. And she sat there very proudly, thinking lofty thoughts. I really believe I must have been born of a sunbeam. I'm so fine. Seems to me as if the sunbeams were always looking under the water for me. Here I am, so fine that my own mother cannot find me. If I had an old eye which broke off, I believe I would weep, but I can't. It is not fine to weep. One day 2 street urchins were playing and wading in the gutter, picking up old nails, pennies, and such things. It was rather dirty work, but it was a great delight to them. "Oh!" cried out one, as he pricked himself on the Darning Needle. "Here's a fine fellow." "I'm not a fellow, I'm a young lady," said the Darning Needle, but no one heard. The sealing wax had gone, and she had become quite black, but the black only makes one look very slim, and so she thought she was even finer than before. "Here comes an eggshell sailing along," said the boys, and stuck the Darning Needle into the eggshell. "More's white and I am black. What a pretty contrast it makes," said the Darning Needle. "Now I can be seen to advantage. If only I'm not seasick, I should give myself over for lost." But she was not seasick and did not give herself up. "It is a good thing to be steeled against seasickness. Here one is indeed an advantage over man. Now my qualms are over. The finer one is more than one can bear." Crack! The eggshell said, as a wagon wheel went over it. "Oh, how it presses!" said the Darning Needle. "I shall indeed be seasick now. I'm breaking." But she did not break, although the wagon wheel went over her. She lay there at full length, and there she may still be lying.